I never thought a simple car ride would destroy my entire life. One second we were arguing, his phone buzzing nonstop, my heart pounding with suspicion. The next, the car was spinning out of control. The crash, the blood, the silence. Now he's in the hospital and I'm facing charges. But the worst part? Even as I watched him unconscious, a part of me still wondered, was he cheating? I should start from the beginning. My name is Jessica asterisk. I'm 30 years old, and up until a few days ago, I thought I had a normal marriage. My husband, Daniel asterisk, and I had been together for 4 years. We weren't perfect, but we had our routines, our inside jokes, and a life we built together. Lately, though, something had changed. Ever since Daniel got his promotion, he was distant, more late nights at work, more urgent emails during dinner. And worst of all, his phone was always buzzing. He used to leave it lying around, unlocked, open. Now, it was always in his pocket, always face down, always locked. I told myself I was overthinking. He was just adjusting to his new role, right? But then date nights started getting canceled. Weekend plans turned into sorry babe, something came up. And when he was home, his eyes were on that damn screen more than they were on me. I tried to ignore it, but the little things started adding up. He laughed at texts but never shared the joke. He stayed late at the office but came home freshly showered. And then there were the names, Rachel, Emily, someone from work always needing his help. I wanted to believe he was just busy, but deep down, a part of me knew something was wrong. Last Thursday was supposed to be our night, just us. I had planned everything, his favorite dinner, a movie, just some time together. But an hour before, he casually mentioned a work dinner he had asterisked to attend. No warning, no apology, just, I'll make it up to you. I swallowed my frustration and went with him, even though I knew I'd just be sitting there, watching him talk to people I didn't know, pretending everything was fine. The drive there was silent at first, then asterisk ding. His phone lit up again and again. He kept glancing at it, tilting it away from me. I forced a smile. Popular tonight, huh? He barely looked at me, just a shrug. Work stuff. But I wasn't stupid. And when he asterisk smiled at one of the messages, my stomach dropped. That's when I knew. Whatever was happening on that phone was more important to him than me. I told myself to stay calm. Maybe it really was work. Maybe I was just overreacting, but that damn phone wouldn't stop buzzing. Daniel barely acknowledged me as he kept glancing at the screen, a small smirk forming on his lips. I clenched my fists, forcing myself to breathe. It's just work. It's just work. Then another notification, and another. Finally, I couldn't take it anymore. Who keeps texting you? I asked, my voice trying to sound casual but failing miserably. Daniel sighed like I was exhausting him. It's just the team, we're coordinating for the dinner. But he wouldn't even look at me when he said it. I glanced at the screen, just a flash before he tilted it away. A name, Rachel. Of course. Rachel, his new team lead. Rachel, whose name had been popping up way too much in conversation. Rachel, who always seemed to need his help, even after hours. Oh, I said, my voice tight. So Rachel's your new secretary now. Daniel rolled his eyes. Jesus, Jessica, can we not do this right now? That was it, no reassurance, no you're overthinking, just dismissal. And I hated being dismissed. I stared at him, at the way his jaw clenched, the way he gripped the steering wheel just a little too tight. He was nervous, and nervous meant guilt. You've been acting weird for weeks, I shot back. Always on your phone, always coming home late, and now you're smiling at her texts. God, you're unbelievable. He let out a humorless laugh, shaking his head. This is why I don't tell you things, you always jump to the worst conclusion. Then prove me wrong, my voice was shaking now. Show me the messages. Daniel's knuckles turned white on the wheel. He didn't respond. Silence. That told me everything. My heart pounded in my chest, my vision blurring with rage. He's lying, he's hiding something, he's cheating. And then another ding asterisk. Daniel's eyes flickered to the phone. That same smirk, just for a split second. I snapped. Before I even knew what I was doing, my hand shot forward, grabbing for the phone. Jessica, what the hell? He jerked away, his arm twisting, the phone slipping from his grasp and tumbling onto the floor. Just let me see it, I screamed. Then in the chaos, I grabbed the wheel. A sharp swerve. The world spinning. Daniel yelling. The sound of tires screeching against pavement. And then impact. A deafening crash. Glass shattered, metal crunched. Then silence. Complete horrifying silence. I blinked, my vision spinning, my ears ringing. My whole body felt numb. And then I saw him. Daniel slumped against the seat, blood trickling down his forehead. Not moving. My breath hitched. No, 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 no. I reached for him with shaking hands. Daniel, my voice was barely a whisper. Baby, wake up. Nothing. I screamed his name, shaking him, my heart hammering against my ribs. He didn't wake up. He didn't move. And as panic swallowed me whole, a tiny, sick voice in the back of my mind whispered the question I never wanted to admit. Who was he really texting? The seconds after the crash stretched into eternity. My breath came in ragged gasps as I fumbled for my phone, my hands trembling so hard I almost dropped it. 911. I had to call 911. The operator's voice was calm, steady. Mine was anything but. There's been an accident. My husband, he's not moving. There's blood. Ma'am, stay calm. Is he breathing? I didn't know. I couldn't know. My whole body was shaking as I reached out, my fingers pressing against Daniel's neck. A pulse, weak but there. He's alive, I whispered. The relief was short-lived. My eyes darted to his phone, lying in the shattered glass on the floorboard. The screen was cracked but still lit up. A notification banner flashed. Rachel asterisk, are you still coming? Can't wait to see you winking face. I froze, my heart twisted in my chest. The room around me blurred, the distant sound of sirens growing louder. My head was pounding, but one thought cut through the pain like a blade. He was meeting her. My hands curled into fists. I had been right. All the late nights, the secretive texts, the way he had been pulling away, it all made sense now. Daniel had been cheating. And I had just crashed our car, trying to prove it. The flashing red and blue lights painted streaks of color across Daniel's unconscious face. Paramedics rushed in, voices blurring together as they carefully pulled him from the wreck. I tried to follow, but someone grabbed my arm, an officer. Ma'am, you need to step back. I need to go with him. We have some questions first. I barely processed what they were saying. My eyes stayed locked on Daniel's still body as they loaded him into the ambulance. His phone, the proof of everything was still in the car. I need his phone, I mumbled. The officer's expression shifted. That's not important right now. Can you tell me what happened? I opened my mouth, but I didn't know what to say. How could I explain that I had been trying to steal my husband's phone when I accidentally grabbed the wheel, that I had been so blinded by jealousy I almost got him killed? My stomach churned as I forced out the safest version of the truth. He was texting while driving. I tried to take the phone away. He wasn't paying attention and we crashed. It was entirely a lie, but the way the officer's eyes narrowed told me he wasn't convinced. We'll need a full statement at the station, he said. Are you injured? I barely felt anything. My body was running on adrenaline, my thoughts spinning out of control. I needed to see Daniel, needed to hear him explain that message. The officer didn't let me go with him. They took me to the hospital separately, asking me more questions on the way. By the time I arrived, Daniel was already in surgery. His mother was there, packing the waiting room. The moment she saw me, her face twisted with fury. What did you do? She spat. It was an accident, I whispered. An accident, she let out a bitter laugh. You've been acting paranoid for months, Jessica. And now, after all your crazy accusations, my son is in surgery. You think that's just a coincidence? I didn't answer. Because deep down, I knew she was right. I sank into a chair, my mind racing. I should have been thinking about Daniel's recovery, about whether he would be okay. But I was. I was still thinking about that message. Can't wait to see you winking face. Was it really just asterisk work? Or had my worst fears been right all along? I pulled out my own phone and scrolled through my old screenshots of messages I had glimpsed over the past few months. There were so many from Rachel, so many late-night work emergencies. And now, with that emoji, that flirtatious tone. I had to know the truth. Daniel's phone was still back at the crash site, locked in evidence, but his hospital room would have one thing I needed: his backup laptop. My pulse pounded as I formulated a plan. I would wait, pretend to be the concerned wife, and when the opportunity came, I would finally get the answers I deserved. The hours crawled by. Daniel was still in surgery, and I sat frozen in the waiting room, my mind a whirlwind of panic, regret, and obsession. His mother wouldn't stop glaring at me, whispering furiously with his sister, probably plotting ways to keep me away from him forever. I barely noticed. All I could think about was that damn message. Can't wait to see you winking face. The words burned in my mind like a brand. I had risked everything to find the truth, our marriage, our safety, our future. And now I would finally know. By the time the doctor emerged, I was stiff from sitting so still. His expression was grim. Multiple fractures, a concussion, severe nerve damage in his right arm. We won't know the extent of mobility loss until rehab. My stomach twisted. Nerve damage. Daniel was a software developer. His hands were everything to him. His mother let out a dramatic wail, clutching his sister as if she were the one who had been in the accident. I didn't cry. I couldn't. Because as much as I wanted to feel guilt, remorse, anything, I was still focused on one thing. The phone. The truth. Daniel was moved to a private room hours later, heavily sedated. His mother refused to let me see him at first, standing at the door like a guard dog. You've done enough damage, she hissed. I just need a moment, I pleaded. Please, I love him. She scoffed but eventually left, muttering something about getting coffee. The moment she was gone, I stepped into the dim hospital room. Daniel lay still, his face pale against the stark white sheets, his arm wrapped in a thick cast. The sight of him like that should have crushed me, but my eyes darted immediately to the bedside table. There it was. His laptop. I felt my pulse hammering as I stepped closer. My hands were shaking as I lifted the lid. The screen flickered to life, the familiar login page appearing. Password protected. Of course. But Daniel was predictable. I tried our anniversary first. Denied. Then his childhood pet's name. Denied. Then with a deep breath I typed, Rachel. The screen unlocked. A sharp, sickening jolt shot through my stomach. Rachel, he had used her name as his password. I stared at the inbox, my hands cold, my mouth dry. The emails were all there. Messages between Daniel and Rachel dating back months. I clicked the most recent one. Rachel, hope you're still coming. Everything is set up, winking face, can't wait to see your reaction. Daniel, you're the best, seriously. Thanks for helping me pull this off. My vision blurred, helping him pull this off. What the hell did that mean? I scrolled down, scanning the thread, and then I saw it. A forwarded email chain. Hotel reservations. Dinner plans. A carefully coordinated schedule involving his entire team covering for him. He wasn't meeting Rachel for an affair. He was planning a surprise. For me. I gripped the desk as the realization crashed over me like a tidal wave. Oh my God, what have I done? The texts, the secrecy, the meetings. It wasn't cheating. It was an anniversary trip, a romantic getaway to the same beach where we had our first date. Daniel had been planning it for weeks. And I had destroyed everything, because I was too paranoid to trust him. I let out a strangled sob, slamming the laptop shut. The sound was louder than I expected, and behind me I heard a weak, groggy voice. "Really, Jessica, even now?" I turned sharply. Daniel was awake. His eyes, normally so full of warmth, were empty, hollow. "Daniel," I whispered. I didn't know, I thought. "You thought I was cheating," he finished, his voice raw. "So you risked our lives over it." I opened my mouth, but no words came out. What could I say? I needed to know. Daniel let out a bitter laugh, but it quickly turned into a grimace of pain. "You needed to know," he repeated slowly. "So instead of trusting me, you nearly killed me." Tears spilled down my cheeks. "I never meant to." "But you did," he cut me off. His voice was quieter now, but full of something worse than anger, disgust. "Jessica, I spent months planning something special for you, and the whole time you were keeping screenshots, tracking my coworkers, watching my every move, and when that wasn't enough, you grabbed the damn wheel of a moving car." "Daniel, please," I begged. "I love you." He exhaled shakily, staring at the ceiling. "If this is love, I don't want it." A cold chill ran through me. "Daniel, please." His finger hovered over the nurse call button. "Get out," he said, his voice empty. I didn't move. He pressed the button. A nurse appeared almost immediately, her expression shifting when she saw my tear-streaked face. "Is she bothering you, Mr. Carter?" "I want her out," Daniel said without hesitation, "and I want to press charges." Everything stopped. "Charges," I whispered. Daniel finally looked at me again, but there was nothing left in his eyes. "You grabbed the wheel of a car, Jessica. You almost killed me." His voice was eerily calm. "You don't get to come back from that." The nurse gently took my arm. "Let's go, ma'am." I tried to fight it. I wanted to explain asterisk, but what was left to say? Daniel was right. I had destroyed everything. And now I was about to pay the price. The ride home from the hospital felt surreal. My body was moving, my heart was beating, but inside I felt hollow, numb. Daniel had pressed charges. I kept replaying his words in my head. "You don't get to come back from that." I wanted to believe he was just angry, that he'd cool down, that maybe we could fix this. But deep down, I knew the truth. I had lost him. By the time I got home, the reality of what I'd done started sinking in. Daniel's things were everywhere, his gym shoes by the door, his half-finished coffee mug still in the sink from that morning. Everything looked so normal, except for the fact that my husband was in a hospital bed because of me. And then the texts started. At first, it was just his mother. "You're a monster." Then his sister. "You deserve to rot in jail." Then my phone blew up. Friends, coworkers, people I hadn't spoken to in years. Somehow, everyone knew. Daniel's family had gone public. A post in the local Facebook group, one of those dramatic, attention-grabbing ones that spread like wildfire. "My brother was nearly killed by his own wife last night. She grabbed the wheel of the car while he was driving, all because she thought he was cheating. He was planning a surprise anniversary trip. Now, he has permanent nerve damage, and she's walking free for now." The comments were brutal. "What kind of psycho does that? She should be in prison already." If the roles were reversed, she'd be calling it abuse. "She's a danger to society, lock her up." I stared at my screen, unable to breathe. I wasn't just losing my husband, I was losing my entire life. Then the final blow. My boss called. "Jessica, after everything that's come to light, we think it's best if you take some time away from the company. Permanently." Fired. Fired for something that wasn't supposed to be public. I wanted to scream, to throw my phone across the room, to do something, but all I could do was sit there, my entire world unraveling around me. The arrest. The knock on my door came early the next morning. Two police officers, stone-faced, unmoved. Jessica Carter. I nodded, my heart sinking into my stomach. You're under arrest for reckless endangerment with a vehicle. The world tilted, my body went cold. Wait, no, this is a mistake, my voice cracked. It was an accident. The officer barely reacted. You have the right to remain silent. Everything blurred after that. The cold metal of the handcuffs, the flashing lights, the neighbors peeking through their blinds, watching as I was led to the squad car. Janet, from across the street, was recording. Of course she was. By the time I was booked, fingerprints, mugshot, the humiliating orange jumpsuit, the news had already spread. I spent the night in a holding cell, curled up on the cold metal bench, replaying everything over and over. If he had just shown me the phone, none of this would have happened. But even as I thought it, I knew how ** insane it sounded. I had grabbed the wheel, I had made the choice. And now I was paying for it. Hash bail in the aftermath. My parents posted my bail the next morning. My mom cried the entire time, her voice barely above a whisper. We'll figure this out, sweetie. But I could see it in my dad's eyes. Disappointment, shame. The ride home was silent. Nobody knew what to say. When we got to the house, my mom hesitated before handing me my phone. You might not want to look online right now. I should have listened. I didn't. The first thing I saw was an article. Wife who crashed car in fit of jealousy, now facing charges. It was everywhere. Reddit, Twitter, even some stupid gossip sites. I had become a cautionary tale. Daniel's coworker, Rachel, had even posted about it. Men can be victims of domestic violence too. Just because she didn't hit him doesn't mean she didn't abuse him. Thousands of likes, support pouring in, people calling me dangerous ***. Daniel hadn't spoken publicly, but he didn't need to. His silence said everything. Then the final message. From a number I didn't recognize. This is Detective Marshall. We need you to come down to the station. Mr. Carter has decided to press full charges. I stared at the screen, my whole body numb. Daniel wasn't just done with me. He wanted to make sure I *paid. And I had no one to blame but myself. The courtroom was silent, except for the judge's voice. Mrs. Carter, given the severity of your actions, the physical and emotional trauma inflicted on the victim, and your history of controlling behavior, the court has decided. I barely heard the rest. 18 months in prison, 5 years probation, mandatory counseling, a ** felony ** on my record. It was over. Or at least, this * part was. The first few nights in my cell were the worst. I barely slept, my mind racing with everything I had lost. My job, my reputation, my ** marriage **. Daniel didn't come to the trial after his testimony. He didn't look at me once in court. That hurt the most. He used to love me, we used to share everything. Now, I was just the woman who had destroyed his life. And honestly, I didn't even blame him. For the first few weeks, I still tried to justify it. If he had just shown me the texts. If he hadn't been so secretive. If he had reassured me more. But therapy forced me to confront the truth. I wasn't the victim here. I had been spiraling for months, keeping screenshots of his messages, stalking his coworkers online, questioning his every move. That wasn't love. That was obsession. I told myself I was just being cautious, that I was protecting * my marriage. But in reality, I was * destroying it. The worst part. Daniel had never cheated. Every late-night meeting, every hushed phone call, every text message, ** it was all for me. He had loved me enough to plan a surprise anniversary trip. And I had loved him so much that I destroyed it out of fear. What kind of love was that? The day I got the divorce papers was the first time I truly broke. There was no note, no anger, no last words. Just a clean break. I sat in my tiny prison cell, staring at the papers, and realized, asterisk, this was it. There was no fixing us, no apology big enough to erase what I had done. Daniel would heal, move on. Maybe he'd fall in love again. Maybe he'd finally feel safe with someone. And me. I'd be the woman people whispered about, the one in cautionary Reddit posts, the one mothers warned their sons about. Don't date a Jessica, you might not survive it. I don't know what comes next. I'll serve my time. I'll go through the therapy. I'll try to become someone better asterisk. But I know one thing for sure. I was the villain in this story. And I have no one to blame but myself. What would you have done in my place? Would you have trusted him, or would you have needed to know the truth? Let me know in the comments below. If you found this story shocking, don't forget to like and subscribe for more real-life betrayals, heartbreaks, and confessions. Trust me, you won't believe what's coming next.